So welcome back students in this series of MERN technology. So in the previous video we have discussed about React events. We have discussed about double click, we have discussed about on mouse over, mouse out and various type of JavaScript and React events. In this video we'll discuss about React forms. Now what is a form? So in basic HTML we have discussed about a form tag. Now the form in the HTML is handled by the DOM, which is document object model. But in React, we have a different concept on forms. So in React, the forms are handled by the component. So the data of that particular form is completely handled by the components and particularly saying the states or hooks used in that particular component. So if we go with the definition of that form, that says that forms are an integral part of any modern web application. So if you are building, let's suppose if you're building any kind of portfolio, if you are building any kind of e-commerce or anything else, so the forms are the integral part. You have to create a login form, you have to create a sign up form, you have to create an inquiry form, a calling form or anything else. Now it allows the user to interact with the application as well as gather the information of that user. So if you are, let's suppose, signing up the user, so a user first time comes to your website and you have to gather some kind of information about that user, so you have to use forms. Forms can perform many tasks that depends on the nature of the business of requirement and logic such as authentication of the user, adding, using, searching, filtering, booking, ordering, etc. So there are so many kind of forms and forms can be used in so many ways. So in lots of operation we use forms in the normal website. Now let's discuss with the help of a program in React how to handle forms and how to work with forms. So let me create a component with the name form test. So that is basically a random component which will have a form, which will contain a form, and then we will see how to handle that particular form. So we'll write down. So these empty tags are known as fragments in React. So these are used to basically contain multiple elements. So this will work same as div element. Now we'll return a h1 tag and we'll say enter your name. Also, let's suppose we have another h1 tag and then we have a button. Now after this let's have input of type text same. Now let's render this on the screen and let's see the output. First of all, we render form test and then we will see the output. So let me open this. Now let's check the output of this on the browser by simply npm start. So this will start my React server automatically on default port 3000. It will show me the output. So you can see the output is we have two labels, enter your name, and then we have two inputs, and then we have a submit button. So if I enter something in this and click on submit, nothing will happen right now because we are not handling something. We have just uh, designed the form. We have not handled the form right now. So for that we'll write down. Now to store the state, to store the data of this name, we'll have a hook, and to store, let's say, age, to store the data of this age, we'll have a separate hook. For that let's design two hooks where name and set name, then where age and set age. Now this will equals to use state. Use state is basically hook, also equals to use state. Now we have two variables, one is name and another is age. Now we'll put value equals to name and here value equals to age. So if we put some default values in this, that let me put Kuldeep, and let's suppose the age I have put is 25. So this will by default show some data over this, but initially our form's value will be empty, or we can say name or age to demonstrate something, to store the default values. Now, so now you can see some sample data onto the inputs. But now we have to use this set name and set age function to change the value of this name and age as per the value of input have been changed. As with the value of input that the user will change on the runtime. So we'll write down. onChange equals to, and in this we'll pass a function. We'll pass an arrow function equals to. Now to get the value of this particular input, we have an object. For that we'll pass e, and we'll say set name and e dot target dot value. But is the target, this particular input is the target, so we'll write down e dot target dot value. So if a user entered Kuldeep, so the target value equals to Kuldeep, and the set name method will automatically set Kuldeep to the variable. So this is how this will work. Also in the age variable we'll say onChange equals to e, and in this we have function set age, and we'll write down e dot target dot value, and let's save this. Also let's do one thing along with this. Let's do a console.log. So we'll write down console.log name here, console.log age. So this is how it will work. Now let's see the output. Let me open the console. So now if I do any change to this particular input, that will reflect in the console. So you will see, let's zoom out this console and let me remove this. So you can see one by one the elements removed from this. Now if I write down KUL, so you can see the changes in the particular state. KUL D double E P. Also into the age. So if I remove this, you will see, let's say my age is 26. So you can see the change in the input inside this console. So this is how this will work. Now also let's add an event onto that particular button. So we'll write down on click and a function, a basic arrow function, console.log my name is equals to plus name, and then also we'll write down my age is equals to plus. So let's save this and check the output. So let's say Kuldeep, and let's add age 26, and if I click on this submit, so you'll see the data that my name is Kuldeep and my age is 26. So this is how you can get the values from the form using the state, using the use state methods and the arrow functions. So this is how in React we handled form. So this is how in React we handle form and get the data out that particular form. Now with the help of this form, we can build login form, we can build sign up form, we can build any kind of inquiry form or booking forms, any kind of forms into the React application. So this is all about forms. In the next video, we'll discuss the most important topic of the React, which is React routing. So which is responsible for final compilation and building of a React website. So thank you for watching this video.